morning, people. Happy new month. It is the 1st of July. Welcome to TDA, the day after, your favorite news platform and the home of popular culture as defined by the culture. And as always, you have amazing hosts with you. I am one of them, Martin Royalty.
And they call me E-Man, the pro-black activist, TDA producer and news analyst, melanin jam-packed.
That is right. And of course, Brent is here as well.
Good morning, everybody. Quick question. Five questions, right?
Yes.
What's your relationship like with change, Emmanuel?
I'm alright with it. Depends on the change, though, of course.
Esther?
I embrace change. It's difficult sometimes, but I feel like change is needed for growth.
There we go.
So I embrace change, and I love growth. So
Yeah.
here for it.
All right, fantastic. I was on the Discord late last night, early morning.
Yapping.
Just to catch up. No, I wasn't on there. I check every day just to make sure I don't miss anything from the community.
Yes.
And Femster, he tapped in, he had watched the show, and he had shared his views on a few things. And then he ended with, I'm always asking for a topic of the day to ask people if they would say loudly half the stuff they want celebrities and figures to say, and then deal with potential consequences.
No, they wouldn't.
Knowing when to pick your fight is also very important, because he kind of viewed the live chat, the replay live chat, when we were talking about Bob Villain or Violin, however you pronounce it, and he was like, I know some of you people were saying that this is what Storms they should have done, but none of you are going to help these guys pay their bills after you chat about them for a day or two.
That's my thing. Always my thing.
Big facts.
Because you don't.
Yeah, I found it like a good question to ask the community. Like, which one of you all will go to your workplace and do the same thing?
Because some of you can't even tell your manager to stop calling them racial slurs.
Facts.
Some of you can't even ask for a raise, child.
Can't negotiate break
Can't
times.
negotiate nothing.
Talking about
Don't want to
Storms.
come across aggressive. So you're code switching like there's no tomorrow. You don't even recognize who you are. Go in the bathroom for a little break. And you look at yourself, you're disappointed and you're just sickened by what you see in the mirror. But then you want people to have nothing to lose anymore. So.
Oh,
Right. How about you, Emmanuel? Obviously, this is another form of workplace, so you say whatever you want here, right? But same things you say here. Would you
Can you run it elsewhere?
Would you go to your other workplace and say it?
yes and no. And I'll tell you why yes and no. I'll say no because I'm not really a talker like that, innit? I don't. On the show, it may seem like I am, innit? But I'm not.
I'm sure you're Nigerian and outside you're Ghanaian. Yeah.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? I keep to myself, innit? But if the conversation come up, I would never be scared to say what I'm saying. So that's why I say yes and no. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not one of those who are just actively going around trying to make my presence felt like, yo, you see what's happening on the news? What these Jewish people and this, or these Palestinian people and this? No. I don't even do that for black-related things, if I'm being honest. I mind my business, man. Because I know people are not really ready for those conversations.
Yeah. And that's my thing as well, because if the conversation happens, I have to make known that I don't stand on the same side as you. It doesn't matter what setting. I mean, if it's church, whatever. If you want to be in church, you want to talk about Israel, I'm going to really let you know what I think. I'm going to really let you know that the ones Moses freed, those ones, it was not Netanyahu.
Big facts.
That's a matter of fact.
Big facts.
So, I just think it's about time and place. But then in workplaces, they're not meant to be having these conversations anyway.
Yeah.
Because people have different faith. Like, you can easily offend people. I mean, I hope someone would offend me so that I could sue and just not work for a while. You know how much I wish every workplace I go to, someone just call me a black bitch? Just once. Just one time, please. You stupid Negro. Just one time. One time.
I don't know why
Here come the waterworks. The shake, I will shake. Oh my gosh.
So that reminded me of a time I was at work, yeah. When I used to work in the council, innit?
Yeah.
And one guy, so he was walking behind me, yeah. And the carpet was kind of, you know how sometimes you might trip over the wires or something?
Oh, yeah.
He tripped and almost, like, he kind of caught his balance. Because that's what, I guess, as a human being, that's what you do. He was so annoyed that he caught his balance. He said, "Oh my God, I would have sued this cunt."
I slipped in Tesco before. I said, "You stupid girl, should have fallen on the ground. Why did you catch yourself?"
Yeah, you know what I mean? He said, "Oh, I need another one. I need another one."
Listen, I just need a small slip in Tesco where there's no signs, no nothing.
Yep, I'm telling you.
Call the ambulance. I'm not getting up until you call the ambulance. I'm not getting up until you call the ambulance. It needs to be on record.
Yep.
Next morning, my GP seeing me.
Yep.
Let's do this,
Facts.
people. Let's do this. Anyway.
Ramsey.
We got Ramsey.
Man.
Ramsey's about Palestine anyway. They say, "Good morning, Ramsey." So they free Palestine.
Does he do that at work?
I don't know, Brent. But I think he's capable of doing that work.
No, I'm asking you because obviously.
How would you know this? They don't work together.
You know what I mean? But I think he's capable, though.
It's not a secret. Okay.
Well, what's going on?
Obviously, you all had a conversation. I wasn't privy to it.
The default is always.
Always. Like, your first day here.
No.
I've said this time. I've said it at least 5 times on this motherfucker show.
Can you imagine?
5 times.
That's crazy. So you just got no one's consent. You just said, "Print."
Consent. This dude's even said it.
It's media consent.
He has even said it.
Is it on the thing? I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
why she says it? Of course he's on the mic.
Anyway.
I'm 30 in a month.
Wow.
I'm 30 years old in a whole month.
How's it feel?
I'm really excited for my 30s, you know. I've always been excited. Like, so basically, when I was like 23, 22, right? Yeah, about 23. I was like, there's a certain kind of person I want to be when my 30s comes. And I just wanted to definitely have the best relationship with God I've ever had in my life. I wanted to be walking in God's purpose and God's will. I wanted to know, like, what my purpose here on earth is. I wanted to be consistent with the gym. And I just wanted, like, my character to just be more in line with God's, basically. Just be the person I was. And even, like, and just, like, traumas and stuff like that, I wanted to have dealt with all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. And so I consciously, actively started doing those things from then. So, like, for, like, the past, I think from, like, 23, 22 even, my New Year's resolution has been to grow, to be a better person. Like, I never focused on get this. Like, my thing was just I want to grow as a person. And so I'm very happy. I'm actually very excited to turn 30.
Normally, when people hit 30, there are big decisions they make in their lives.
Child, I've already started.
Yeah.
Mine
Serious?
Mine started at, like, what, 27?
Change is
26
come.
even.
What's your favorite Change song, Emmanuel?
Change clothes, man. Jay-Z.
I thought you were going to say Prince.
You know what? There's probably a song in there. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely
You got Prince garments in your cupboard?
No,
What?
no. If they were on sale, I'd buy it though.
What?
Yes. What?
Why would you wear
In
Prince
Are
garments?
you not in Pride Month anymore?
No? God damn it.
Do you remember back in the day and those...
But I didn't have cut out buttocks.
That's what I was about to say.
Do
you remember, like...
what they said? Yes, I will buy
Do you remember
those.
back in the day,
I will buy
yeah?
those jeans.
Remember back in the day, those
Might be
exercise
tight.
videos? And they'll have them string vests, but upside down.
Yep.
The crutch part is the string part.
Terrible. Terrible.
Those are Prince garments.
Budgie huggers.
Jumpsuits and bedazzled jumpsuits and such.
People are asking what this top fund is. I quickly found out what it was. It's not something that I've looked to put as a feature. I think it's just automatic. But basically, every single stream, it tallies the amount of live chat commentary or contribution for the audience. And then it gives you a 1, 2, or 3.
Nice.
So the more you type,
Turn your time.
the more you go up the leaderboard.
You or the people them?
Them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The more they go up the leaderboard. So it's always a 1, 2, 3 thing. It's so funny that the day after we talked about running and competition, we have this popping up. Well, don't let that deter you.
That's what these crowns and all this stuff is here
That's
for.
what I just said.
Okay. Do you know what it is? I thought you was relating to like another thing that you're going to incorporate into something.
I mean, that's fine. I did it this morning, and no, you're doing it now.
No, yours was worse.
That's fine.
Yours was
I
absolutely
I don't
worse.
think so. I don't
Yours
think
was
so.
worse, and then you had
Yeah.
the cheek to ask why he didn't give you further information when you barely understood the synopsis.
But the thing is, if there was a message to basically, pass on to
Pass
me,
on.
I would make the effort. Do you understand? I always think it's my fault when somebody doesn't understand what I'm saying. So I continue
Why do
until
you do
they
that?
do.
Is it because your accent?
Different things. I mean, I talk different. I think different. I make words up.
Yeah.
I talk fast. And sometimes I don't finish my sentence. Quite a few different things.
I hear you.
So
Fair.
so I take the time.
Fair.
I take the time. Anyway,
One
so
more, sorry.
30.
Yes, 30.
Yeah.
Clean 30.
Clean 30.
Holy 30. Whoo! Found it.
What are you looking for?
You know, people are like, oh, dirty 30. Nothing dirty over here, boy.
Okay.
It's cleanliness.
All right. So, change is going to come on Esther's 30th. Is that what you're saying?
Amen.
You can cut your hair?
Amen to
It's
that.
already here, man. It's already changing, man.
You're going to cut your hair again?
Do you know what? I actually wanted to
Get a
cut my hair.
tattoo?
Not low like that. I wanted
Piercing?
a bob. I wanted like a short, cute little bob.
Take up a run class?
I'm never gonna start running. I'm just like the running. Like, come on, everybody, calm down. Do you know what my sister said to me? My sister messaged me yesterday. She goes, "What did she say? It's clown." She says, "Morning speed walker extraordinaire."
Wow.
Wow, he's right. Wow, he's right. I've been called all sorts. Like, imagine me telling my man, I was like, "Oh, they were making fun of, they were laughing at me on the show about my run." He was like, asterisk, your walk. I said, yesterday he talked about it. He was so serious because he was like, I can't believe that's what you did. So he was like, I got it. He's like, you didn't sprint. He's like, you jogged. And he was like, basically, like it's like you were warming up to run.
Yeah.
But he was like, 100 meters are like, it's a sprint. You have to just
Yep,
go.
straight.
And he was like, it was clear that you clearly didn't want to fall. I said, oh, absolutely. I'm not going to sprain my ankle. Because it's very uneven ground. I was like, he was like, I can see you looking at the floor as you're running.
Sorry, not having it. Not having it.
You don't have to.
Not having it.
Doesn't matter.
This idea that
There's a reason why you're not my man.
the percent. To be honest, I have a few days left. Innit? I'm gonna get my shit off.
Zero consequences. What am I going to do? Not turn up?
You give me the baton. You give me baton. Wait. I think that you don't just forget that. You don't forget how to run, right?
Yeah.
That shows me you've never run in your life, or you've
Yeah,
run
who am
at
I
a
running
time.
from?
You've run at a time. You run at a time when
I ran from a dog. I went
transition
faster
to
though.
adulthood or consciousness.
Yeah.
Completely different seasons.
I mean,
understand? So you've forgotten
yeah.
everything from before.
But you know what it is though? I've never been a runner because nothing's chasing me. And that's what the Bible, there's a verse somewhere in Proverbs or like Psalms or something. I think probably Proverbs. There's a lot of smart words in there. Where it says talking about only the wicked run if no one's chasing them. I live by the Bible, you know that, to a T. So I don't run. What's chasing me?
Wait, you're saying everybody who joins run clubs, like they're running from,
I know where they're running from.
from wickedness?
They're running from some.
Or this is wicked, full stop.
I don't think
You hear
wickedness-
that? All you runners?
No, don't
All
say
of
that.
y'all are
because
wicked.
Dr. Mani's in a run club and I don't think she's wicked.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know where they're running from. But personally, I can't run because
Don't
there's nothing
talk with
chasing
Dr.
me.
Amani. She might be wicked.
She's not.
That's nice.
I think so.
Yeah.
So you
Do
think she's
Dr.
wicked?
Amani's wicked, Emmanuel?
No, not at all.
What do you think she's wicked?
Dr.
What do
Martin.
you know that
No,
the rest
I'm
of us...
giving her the
What do
agency
you
to
know
be
the rest of us
to
don't
be
know?
what she wants to be. You understand? I'm not imposing any sort of ethical or moral
On her.
boundaries on her.
Sure.
She should be allowed to be wicked if she wants to be wicked. She's Jamaican as well, isn't it? It's like a rite of passage. You have to learn not to be. Nah, I'm joking. He's a jokes.
Another default settings are wicked.
He's a truly jokes.
So I'm Nigerian, I can say we're wicked.
But you know it's wicked. You know,
Ah,
them ones where you go
Like,
wicked. Hey, we take back that word, man.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
We owned it. Or what we
100%.
claim it, that's the word. But anyway, yeah. So I'm a run one.
Just a shot. When you go to Nigeria, you go.
I'm not ready for nothing in that heat. I'm not, because he's like you're running like you're on the treadmill. And then I was like, do you know what? Fair, that is how I run on the treadmill. That speed.
Oh.
Like I didn't run. Like I didn't go for it.
He didn't run.
And I should have gone for it. Because I'll be honest, when he said it, he was like, yeah, you meant to sprint. I promise you, sprinting never even crossed my mind. Because 100 meters sounds like a lot. So I just thought, I'll pace myself, I'll get there. I mean, I did get there eventually.
Nah.
But I didn't think I'd get there eventually. I just thought I'd get there. Like, worst, I thought third. Imagine my shock. And I'm like, oh. And that's how I think, what's there no point? What's the point of finishing this? I'm already fourth.
So you're just going to give up?
It's not giving up though, is it? It's working smart. Because there's other games after this. So I might as well save my energy. Mind you though, when it was the 4x100, my name didn't even enter the chat for the team. So it didn't even... But I felt like I'd done my contribution anyway, so I said, well, you guys have got it, go on. But my thing is just like, I don't like how everyone's in my DMs as if they are great runners. Because I'm like, shut up. The only reason why everyone can yap is because we can see mine in 4K. We ain't seen yours.
Nah, the other option is not great runner.
Man, that's fair. Some of them are not, I'm sure.
But they don't have to be.
It's just like too many laughs. Like, a laughing emoji, fine. But I'm seeing messages and it's like 3 messages. Why are you sending me 3 different reactions to the same thing? Everyone's getting Cosmos elusive. How did cheat to actually comment on the post on my story to say everyone can see? But anyway, I'm going to be 30 soon.
Yeah, as you mentioned 30, I remembered what 30 meant to me back in the day.
Oh, what did it?
Yeah, there was a guy called Mervin. Mervin? I think his name's Mervin.
Big up Mervin.
Melvin or Mervin?
Mervin. I think his name
Oh,
is
that's like a
Mervin.
magician.
And he used to be 30 once upon a time. And I didn't used to be
Isn't
30.
anyone alive right now 30?
And my relationship with him was he used to come and cut our hair.
Oh, nice. Is your barber?
Yes, but a personal barber.
You're very poetic. He used to come and cut our hair. Like, you sound like you're writing a book.
No, I'm trying to play it back in my head.
Okay, fair.
So there's a timeline in it. So I'm trying to remember it. And I remember myself and Stephen talking about Mervin because he had told us his age. We had asked him his age.
How old was that
He
time?
said 30, right?
Yeah.
And we found that funny.
How old are you guys?
Not 30.
You guys and Steven are so annoying at the time, you know? Like, I could just imagine you guys as kids, like, just...
Yeah, we were.
Like, when they see you coming, they think, oh...
No, that wasn't that.
And there's the 2 of them.
That wasn't that.
I thought you guys were cheeky.
Yeah, we were, but...
That's what I'm saying, though.
It wasn't like a troublesome duo.
Did you ever ask your victims?
There was no victims.
Sure.
There
Mervin
no
was.
victims. None whatsoever.
Do you laugh in Mervin's face about his age?
So, no, we didn't. We laughed together.
private?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we talked about what we would be doing at 30, but it wasn't cutting hair.
What was it?
Huh?
You guys are rude. What do you mean wasn't cutting hair?
No. It was like, how could you be
And
in
he
our
said,
house?
"We
It was
have
so
the
weird. The logic was weird. How could you be in our house, like dusting around, right? Looking to basically get a few pennies to cut hair.
But you know what it is? It just shows you kids have no... This is
Yeah,
what Gina was
we
saying
were older
yesterday.
than kids.
That she can't wait for Gen Z to grow up
Yep.
and feel the wrath of adulthood.
Yeah. But I think it was more than just him being there to cut hair.
Was he like a bum?
I think that we thought that he had nothing else to do with his life.
Yeah, you probably thought this was the peak of his life.
Yeah, because he Daddy's not his age, but yeah, he kept coming to our house.
Maybe your dad was a mentor to him. Why is that funny? Why is that funny?
For different reasons.
They think your father's a good mentor.
But elaborated.
Sure.
So, yeah. So we laughed, and then the other day, well, it goes in like anniversary, like every 2 years we reminisce on something and moving passes in our mind, and then we go back to that particular memory
When you're
we was
laughing at
like,
him.
yeah, my money said he was 30, and we were laughing.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, because 30. At the time, we also thought 30 was mad old.
You do. And then when you start to getting older, because when I was younger as well, like when I think about it now, when I was younger, like much younger, like my aunties and uncles were like early 30s or, do you know what I mean? And you just thought they were so old. But it's funny because my niece and my nephew look at me the same way. And I'm looking at them like, you don't even know I went to bed hungry. That's like, I can probably cook. Like, I'm a very unserious person. But yeah, when you're younger, it's so interesting. And you really think, oh my gosh, that's so old. And then when you get to that age, you're thinking, I'm still trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
And you look at adults like they've got it figured out. But they might not.
So back to Femster, because I just closed Discord and I remembered I didn't develop my thought. I had a couple questions. So
You were right. You don't finish your sentences.
why is it that people who exact or want or demand
Yeah.
these particular celebrities to make these particular statements where it jeopardizes their careers?
Yep.
Why are they so confidently in live chats doing that if they won't do it themselves? Can you tell me why? Help me go there. I want to understand.
Do you
why.
know what it is?
You're going to be a therapist one day.
Amen.
One day. So help me.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, right? I just think human beings always like to look to somebody to tell them what to do. Like, who was I talking to yesterday? Oh, one of my friends. And I was saying about like how maybe a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I made the conscious decision to stop telling people things, good or bad. Because I realized that subconsciously sometimes when you tell someone a good thing, you want them to reinforce that's a good thing. And when you tell them something that you're not really sure about, maybe like a plan you have, you want to kind of see what they think about it. And so I didn't want to rely on other people's opinions outside of God's, essentially. And I think with human beings just always find somebody they always want somebody to speak for them. Like, it's a reliance on other people all the time because you know something is bad. But why is it that you can only vocalize that it's bad when it is that someone that you think is cool or someone that has a bigger platform or whatever also says it's bad? It's like when people have talked about it when they're business starters or whatever the case is, and they have a business and their friends don't check for it, like people don't ask them how it's going or whatever. But as soon as they get a cosign from someone that is popular or whatever, all of a sudden, people that have known you, that have been airing your messages, that have been airing your stories, that haven't liked your post or whatever, all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, what you're doing is amazing. Like, I'm so proud of you. And it's like, so it's human beings just always seeking some form of validation and also just seeking some form of leader. Like, people might not think you want a leader, like, oh, hey, I'm going to bow down to this leader. But you want a leader because even like the people that talk about the most independent or the most alpha, or whatever the case, or whatever, personality type they want to use, even they have somebody that they look up to that would judge whether or not they think something is good or not. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. So it's just always that, because I don't know. And I think also as well, I think there's also a sense of entitlement that people in the public feel when someone is famous. There's always that mindset of, we made you, even if you've never streamed a song in your life, even if you've never read anything they do, it's that we, the people, sacrifice we sacrifice something, whether it's our time, it's our money, our resources in some kind of way for you to get to that position. Yeah. And now that you're in that position, you owe us. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. It's so interesting.
Do you know, I think, it's basically similar to what you're going to say. Yeah. I think it's because in some roundabout way, we see those people as our representatives. Yep. You know what I'm saying? 1 second.
He's coming. So how's things, guys? How's life? Brent is out of the room. Iman's out of the room. Let me know in the comments. Let me read some of the comments out. See what y'all thinking. Let's see. Where do I start? First of all, JJ Classic and Son. That's rude. Talking about I'm out here looking like a Somalian Olympic runner. Let's see. I don't want to say anything about this. Okay, Ephraim, I think that says, sorry if I can't pronounce your name, says the entitlement of celebrities is something I don't understand. Word. Who else has said anything about what we're talking about? Oh, the comments are more about 30s. Brent is back anyway. I was going to read some comments out of what people think is the reason why.
Yeah, I need to understand the psyche, man. I need to understand
It's entitlement. I think people always believe that they have, on different levels, it works in different ways. So, for example, with like a podcast or like, let's use a podcast, for example, right? People feel like we watch your show and so we support your show. And if we weren't watching your show, you wouldn't have a show to be doing. And so, therefore, we're going to put this responsibility on you to act a certain way. But we're justified in asking that you act a certain way because we're the reason why you are where you are. Do you get what I mean?
All right.
And I think with celebrities as well, they do that where, and because people just believe as well that if you have a platform, if you've been given a platform where you can reach more than maybe the two people they might meet in their close-knit circles, you ought to use that platform for greater good. But the issue with that is what Femsa said, which is that, yes, you want people to use their platform for greater good or whatever you call greater good, forgetting, though, that everyone has different things that they deem as greater good. Because let's use Palestine, for example. People who are for free in Palestine are going to think you're using the platform for good. On the other side, of people who are not pro-Palestine, they're going to think you're using the platform for bad. Do you get what I mean? But obviously, whatever people think is the greater cause at that time, they want you to use a platform for that. And so if you're not using a platform for that, they feel as if, what a waste. Like, have you ever seen people say that we made the right person famous? That's the thing. So it's like, if you don't use your platform to discuss the things that they believe you should be discussing, it's like you're basically a waste, and we could have inserted somebody else in there. It's just the public feeling like we did this, we are the reason why. And that's why cancellation culture is how it is, because it's like, we put you there, you've messed up, we're now going to remove you.
All right, so thank you for that. Is that the best Steelman argument? Is that the best...
That's my best professional argument.
No. Are you being fair with their strongest response to my question? Because it sounds like there's a bit of negativity in there. It's a bad thing for them to be entitled, right? Being entitled isn't a good thing, in my estimation. If you're called entitled, it's not. Thank you very much.
Like, yeah,
you know.
I think
anything innocent and sincere
about
what it is that they would do when asking or requiring a celebrity.
Do you know? I think it depends. The way you framed your question would lead us to say the entitlement thing.
Yeah.
There won't be any positives because you said, I think you said it anyway, along the lines of why is it they look to them to do something, but they wouldn't themselves.
Yeah.
If it's a they wouldn't themselves, then that's where a lot of the entitlement comes into.
Even in that, is their responsibility more than what would be on that same person typing what they're typing?
Yes and no. I think it depends though, because some people have become famous, and not one time did they ever show that they were the type of person to speak out about particular things. You've now put that label on them, put that weight on them for them to carry, and they never got. This is why people say I never signed up to be a role model. I understand.
Or an activist.
This is it. You know what I'm saying? Because granted, in some positions you will automatically be seen that way, but the reason why people say that is because they know they're not built in the way that you may perceive them to be built, and it's not fair on them to do that.
Yeah, and the people didn't ask. They didn't ask for those roles. Like I always think it's weird when like you got an influencer that you met on Love Island, and then you want them to come online and now start doing activism. I'm not saying that people shouldn't care about human issues and social issues, because we're all affected by it. But the reality is that not everybody cares about everything. Things affect people differently. So this thing of wanting people to care about the social issues that you personally care about right now, the thing that you think is currently trending, I find it very unrealistic.
So let me try and Steelman it, right? Because as you're talking, I'm now, processing my thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say DJ Khaled. Let's use DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And on certain days, he might be virtue signaling and pretending to be, presenting himself to be good on this, saying, this is bad, right? Free France or whatever for France, right? He will take up a cause, right? And lean into it.
Yeah.
And it will suggest as though, you're on good moral standing, right? You stand up for principle causes and this and next, right? So people, wow, I want to support this guy because he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And then you turn around, and in his own home, it's been decimated, and he is Pim, right? Is it not okay for people to get onto him for that?
Of course it is.
Right? So let's go back to the Stormzy incident, right? Yeah. Once upon a time, Stormzy basically said a particular thing, right? His profile, he presented himself as somebody who stands up for those who can't speak for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And he went out on a ledge to do that, right? During a time when it was convenient for him to do so, right? It was profitable for him to turn that particular action into cultural or community capital. And then, boom, something happens that looks as though it's counter to that. Not just that, but he has pulled back the initial thing that he did. Is it okay for people, even though they wouldn't look to do the thing they're telling him he should do because of their work, is it okay for them to basically say, hey?
But see, that's where my issue is though. Because if you wouldn't do it, who makes you judge? Like, why do you have the qualification to be a judge and jury? When you, because my thing is that if this is something that you truly believed in, we will see it in your fruits, right? But you wouldn't do this. Like, you wouldn't risk it. You haven't risked it. You don't have as much as Stormzy, and the little you haven't even risked it with that little. But yet you want to open your mouth to
Biscuit for chocolate biscuit.
Sure. But my thing is that, like, because I think it makes sense for people to criticize him or whatever, but I just felt like the criticism was way too much given what it was that was known about him. Like what we know that he typically stands for. Do you get what I mean? I think that for me it's like if one of my friends, right? I know how you are. If you do something that's very out of character, I'm not going to be like, oh, Brent, you're a piece of shit, you're da-da-da-da. I'm going to be like, what's happening? What's going on? Demand an explanation. I think that's what people should have.
I miss you.
I'll miss you too when I get to Nigeria.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I think, like, it's like, but I think people, you're such an egg. People should have, I think people should have asked, like, this is not like you. What's going on? Explain yourself.
Yeah.
But the human reaction, and this is where entitlement comes into, is feeling like you have a right to then insult somebody and scrutinize them and say very hurtful and harmful things to them. And then be like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I just can't. It's okay for you to feel a way that he did that. It's okay for you to feel like, do you know what? This is actually like, yeah, this is one offense, but this is one and done for me. That's absolutely fine. You're within your right. But I just think that for what you've known that he's done in the past and what his track record looks like.
Yeah. The credit he has to
Give him
bank.
grace.
That's
like,
what it is for me.
That's it. Like, what? Like, we know what you stand for usually. You stand for truth, blah, blah, blah. What's going on? What's going on, brother? Because you used to love to do a community. Call him brother. What's going on, brother?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like, just going straight and just insulting people and saying, I always knew you were fake, you're a sellout, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah. I lost
what
respect for him.
are you talking about? Lost respect you never even had for him anyway. What are you talking about?
This is why even so.
No, that was anyway.
It's why with the Stormzy thing, I tried to curb what I want to say in it, because I was just started talking reckless. Because I don't like it when people outside of my community come talk about people in my community.
Oh, I hate
I
that.
detest it with a goddamn passion.
I started complaining about black men in outside black spaces.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I'll be damned if little white girl thinks she ma'am,
Ridiculous.
close your mouth.
Ridiculous. Mark said the best. This is what we were saying the other day. Stormzy helps his own community, and that's the most important thing. Nobody from outside anywhere can tell me how to feel about somebody in my community.
And you know what it is though? But that's a real thing, because basically with these things, so as much as people are pro-Palestine and everything, right? There are people where if you say, okay, Palestine, Congo, you can only choose one. People will more likely pick the ones that they feel they can relate to, like, personally, that makes sense. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, people have different social issues that they care the most about. Do you get what I mean? And that's why sometimes I think it's a bit unrealistic. I'm not saying people should actually, like, turn a deaf ear or whatever the case is, but I think it's a bit unrealistic to expect people to care about every single thing, every single social issue the same way.
100%.
I think that's a very depressing life to live. Because there's hella stuff that's going on in this world.
Yeah.
So many things that's going on in this world. Every single group in one way, every single human group is facing some form of something. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So like, if I meet a man who is like, I care about black men's suicide rates and blah, blah, and he doesn't go as heavy about black women in domestic violence or women in domestic violence, I will get that, because he's a black man, and that's something that it's very, very, like, personal and intense for him. Like, I can understand that. Like, I wouldn't I wouldn't then go on and be like, oh, you're a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. There might be times where this social issue is not at the forefront, so you can lend your time and your resources to this other issue, and that's fair. But if it's a thing where it's like neck and neck, it makes sense to me that people will go for the one they feel like they're more, they understand deeper. Do you get what I mean? Like during NSAR, no one could tell me anything about anything else. I'll tell you that as a matter of fact. No one could tell me anything about anything else. Like, I wasn't going to hear it. Do you get what I mean? And even with that, as much as I'm feminist, that was not about women. That was about men and women. That was about just young people and police brutality. And that's what I cared for. And the same way people are with Black Lives Matter. People didn't show up less for well, maybe they did, but I don't know. But I don't think people showed up less for Breonna Taylor. Do you get what I mean? Like, it depends on the social issue. People show up differently. But I think I just think from my unprofessional opinion, I think people are very disingenuous. Because my biggest thing is always that you want people to risk everything. And I'm not saying that I believe it's admirable to stand up for things, and I think it's the moral thing to do. But if people look at their circumstances, their personal lives, that they know what they could possibly lose, and they say, do you know what, I can't afford to lose this right now. I'm not going to be upset with you because I know that I have not gone to my house and set up a GoFundMe to help you with your bills and all that stuff. So I'm not going to. Even Nelson Mandela said he do you know what, I'm not going to prison again. I was not going to be like, oh, you are such a sellout, because I'm not going to be the one to take care of his children and his family when he goes into prison. And I think unless you are willing and ready to do that, you're going to take that stance, honestly, then you need to go easy.
It's true. But the thing is, even if you are prepared to go and do those things, go to those lengths, I think you should also have some sort of empathy for the other person.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes we all get it wrong, innit? Like, I can tell you for myself, I was annoyed at Nick Cannon. I was annoyed. For those who don't know, right? Nick Cannon had, I think I'm not too sure if he's got his own show, right? Still. To be fair, he's got loads of shows in it. But there was a particular show that he had on YouTube where he would he would invite a lot of pro-black, Afrocentric, grassroots guys on his show. So Dr. Uma's been there, Joy DeGrew's been there, Professor Griff's been there, quite a few people have been there, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was episode of Professor Griff. And he was talking about the time he got removed from Public Enemy for saying something about the Jewish community and all that sort of stuff, right? And I think it was that particular episode where he just kept talking about some other things. And Nick Cannon was agreeing. And like, like he was only talking to black people. Right? Then obviously he got a call from, I guess, the Jewish community, right? Or representatives of the Jewish community saying that this is anti-Semitic, etc., etc., etc. And obviously he was made to apologize. And we could tell, as it was happening, you could tell what, like...
As in Nick Cannon, right?
Yeah. Like, what is going to happen? Nick Cannon, are you going to stand your ground and be like, no, this is like stuff that people who are master teachers in the black community have spoken about in their books, and you're only articulating, you're agreeing with them, as opposed to you being anti-Semitic? Or are you going to capitulate and be like, oh, you know what, guys, I'm sorry, let's see what's happening. And then obviously some days later, or maybe a week later, I can't remember, he came out and apologized. And then going forward, he had Jewish people on the show. Yes. And my heart was broken, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not that if I was in Nick Cannon's position, I think you guys know what I would do in it, right? But so what? Because he's different to me. Do you get what I'm saying? And there might have been so many other things that he had planned that he was thinking, this could benefit other people. This could benefit black people. This could benefit my family. So let me just maybe capitulate in this particular. I don't know the method. I don't know the man that's in his method, innit?
Yeah.
But at some point, I felt like I was being a bit harsh. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think that was necessarily fair because the man has done so much good before. And since then, I think he's done good. I haven't followed his career like that.
But you know what it is, though?
You know what I mean?
I think it's also okay, though, to be like, do you know what? I thought you were this way. Now I see that this is where your morals lie because of whatever it is that you have to juggle. And so you're not really someone that I would... You're not someone I wholeheartedly support or anything like that anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. 'Cause I think that's human. That's human. Do you get what I mean? I think that's okay. I think, yes, you can understand why they might have done it, but I think it's also okay to be like, do you know what? I understand why you might have done it. However, though, the kind of person I am, I want people to be able to put everything on the line, regardless of whatever it is. And so that's what I stand for. And that's those kind of people that I'm going to support. That's also okay, but I don't need to be in the comments every single day calling them a flipping sellout and whatnot.
That's not necessary. Especially, again, like when you step back and just look at what the person's done. And this is why I think the Stormzy thing gets to me, because it's like, the man has done so much. Like, he's a young guy. People forget he's still young. I'm not too sure of his age, but I think, is he under 30 still? He's still under 30, right?
That's crazy. Probably like, you know what? Because last time I found out something said, I was shocked. So let me Google it.
Like the man's done a lot of things. Like, and so many people his age ain't done a goddamn thing like he has. I'm not saying everyone should.
Wow, he's 31.
31. He's still young. Still young. You know what I'm
What's
saying?
32 this month?
But he's still young. You know what I'm saying?
He
Like,
is young.
he's still taking on like a weight that many people his age will not do. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I've said it many times. People are like, oh, well, heavy is the head. I mean, he said that too, but forget the song. But you know, people are like, oh, like, well, this is what comes with it.
Yeah.
You know how much I hate that? Anyway.
Yeah.
Does
But-
that help you, Brent? Has that helped you make some kind of sense of it? Ish.
Yes. Yes, it does, definitely. And different other thought pathways also. There's quite a lot discussed there. Should you ever look to force anybody, Emmanuel, to care about certain social issues?
Force? No. Educate? Yes.
Would you malign anybody for not caring about certain social issues you care about?
If they were a black person, no. And if I slipped up and I did, I would try my very best not to do it in public. So behind closed doors, I might be like, I really don't like what this guy's doing. In public, though, I'll try my best not to.
Yeah, but me, I judge people heavy.
Wait, what? Behind closed doors, you would...
So, for example, like, say we were talking about a particular thing, and I was...
Just give me more context. I'm talking about, we have a community we're building here.
Yeah.
We have an audience, and we speak about things that we care about.
Yes.
And there are times when we get impassioned, and it comes across as though we are... telling everybody, if you don't feel the passion I have for this particular thing, then there's an issue with you and you need to buck up.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I thought you were talking about like a particular celebrity or something.
Nope, I gave
okay,
context.
cool. Would I do that? Is that what you're asking
Should
me?
we be doing that?
Yeah, I think so.
Tell me why.
Because it's inspiration. Because some people, I know it may sound silly, but I've said this a couple times on the show. Some people just don't know, you know. Some people just don't know. And sometimes you have to speak to them in a particular way for them to know and feel it. Do you get, and to connect the dots. Because sometimes there are people walking around who just see an issue here, see an issue there, don't see how they're connected. Do you get what I'm saying? And sometimes you have to connect the dots and make everyone recognize that, yo, we are facing the same enemy, or we're in the same boat here, or we are doing this. And if you don't pull your weight, if I don't do this, then we're all going on together. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let me give a little bit more context,
Cool.
right? I need to elaborate on it because I want to hone in on one particular point.
Okay.
So, like I said, on this particular platform,
Yes.
there are things that we say about certain communities
Okay.
at times, right?
Okay.
And that wouldn't be done in our own workplace. Obviously, I don't work for nobody, so it's not for me. I'm talking about you now. You wouldn't do that in your workplace. Now, you said it's because I don't talk outside of here.
Yeah.
I'm Ghanaian, right? I don't want that to wash.
Cool.
Do you understand? Would you say the same thing when you get impassioned and tell people to fix up and
Yeah.
those things you wouldn't basically say to your boss or in the company of your boss, because you know full well they would know, this guy has thoughts about this, that, and the next. He needs to get out of here.
It's funny you're saying that, but as you're saying it and I'm picturing myself in that position, I think I would.
In what position?
Me in front of people around, and I'm impassioned. I would say.
Bear in mind, on this platform, we are volunteering commentary.
Yes.
Do you understand? We are choosing to be open with the thoughts that we have on certain topics. This is what I'm talking about. The same in your workplace. Would you do that?
That's what I'm saying to you. My demeanor is naturally to just keep to myself. But if I'm now in a position where, like you said, I'm impassioned and I'm talking about something, am I misunderstanding what you're saying?
No. But
Okay, cool.
I need to give more so that we hone in on the issue.
Cool.
You're saying your demeanor at work is different than your demeanor here.
Yeah, because
So there's a distinction. Why is there distinction?
No, because I'm naturally just mind my business anyway. It's not to do with work. If I wasn't at work, if I was in some other place, I like to mind my business. You get what I'm saying? Unless
Why is you minding your business sound different here than at work?
Because if I mind my own business here, it's boring. You know what I'm saying? I'd like you didn't come to see me mind my own business. You know what I'm
So
saying?
your natural disposition is to mind your business. So you are exerting extra energy here.
It's more. How do I put it?
I want to get past the point where it sounds to me like you're skirting past answering my question.
No, I'm trying to answer it very
Because I do believe you choose to not share certain beliefs at work.
Yes, of course.
Why?
Because who am I talking to? That's what I'm trying to say to you. So that's why I'm trying to picture myself in a position where let's just say I'm at workplace, right? And there's a bunch of us, 10 people or whatever, and we're having a conversation about a particular thing. And it gets into a particular place. I'll tell everybody my views. 100%. I'll dress down every
If
single
it gets
person.
to a particular...
Because, I tell you why, because in normal life, I don't care about people. When I say I don't care about people, I don't care about people's opinions like that. I'm more so, I keep to myself, let's do for self. I don't care about talking about this, that, and the third with people. But if it got there, I'm invited into the conversation. Because I ain't going to initiate the conversation. And I'm hearing a lot of false nonsense. And I have to do what I do, right? Then 100% I would. Do you get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say to you is, it doesn't matter what company I am in. If I'm in that frame of mind where I want to talk and say my mind about a particular thing, I don't care who it is.
Let me switch the question.
Cool.
And I'm not doing this because I'm trying to be deliberately obtuse.
Okay.
I really want you to question and analyze whether it is you do things strategically to keep something going. And you know, if you don't pattern yourself with your language, who you talk to, what you talk to them about, there's a chance that security of yours at that job will be taken away.
Would I basically be careful what I say so that I don't get sacked? Would I be careful what I say so I don't lose my this or I lose that? Is that what you're
Yes,
trying to say?
and remember, I try to basically give you fodder to use. I say, on this platform, there are a lot of things that you say in an impassioned way. Take some of those and place it in that particular environment. They're more than likely, you will get called up into the office and they'll talk to you about the type of views you have. Do you understand? I'm only saying that because certain other people, you know,
Okay, cool.
So I've witnessed this.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Okay.
And I'm only doing this exercise to basically get you to come where I am. Because I tried to say, please steal Monday argument.
No, 100%. I'm already there, you know. I'm already there. The reason why, that may contribute to the, I think number one, my demeanor is such where it's like, I keep to myself anyway, like I keep saying it. But number two, I think that might also contribute to it. The fact that I know there may be misunderstandings, or this will be a perfect opportunity for somebody to try and get rid of me or make life difficult for me. But I'm being entirely honest when I say this. That doesn't come into my mind. I'm being entirely honest. My main thing is just that I'm just somebody who doesn't really talk about certain things. And I think I'm wise enough to say, I say that humbly though, I'm wise enough to say that I can articulate myself about a particular thing without saying particular words that could get me into a particular place.
And you see,
but still
there's
give you
still
the
management of your dialogue
100%, of course.
to keep something,
Of course.
to maintain something.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. This is why I said what I said about Nick Cannon. Because sometimes you just don't know why somebody's done what they've done. And to go back to your initial question, before I went out, what I wanted to say was one of the reasons why I think people look up to or feel particular ways because they see that person as a representative. That's what it is. I'm aligned with this person. Cool. They're saying everything I wish I could say. Or they are given the opportunity and people are listening to them. If I was in that position, this is what I would have said. But I'm not. And they're saying it. I'm so happy. But then one day when they don't say it, you feel like, damn, they let me down. Because you feel you're connected to them. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is.
I feel sometimes like people sit and want other people to make pathways open to them without risk of them looking to lose something.
100%.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like if you can make my life more comfortable, like do all the dirty work, I would want you to do that.
Yeah.
And because you haven't, I still have to basically sit here and wallow, like ruin the fact that somebody hasn't made it. Somebody had to put their career on the line for me to now have a little bit more breathing space. Do you understand? I think we are so flawed as human beings, and like a lot of times we don't acknowledge or realize that we are exacting or requiring other things from other people that we ourselves you wouldn't risk everything to basically
100%.
do, you know?
100%.
And we can hold on to resenting them and disliking them and being disappointed for as long as it is that that penny hasn't flipping dropped. Do you understand? Until it is we're in a particular predicament and something happens and like, I now want everyone to have grace for me. Do you understand? And that's the whole is this you stuff. You know how some people proper pile onto other people and then they spin around and then they find some dirty cobwebs and skeletons from somebody's attacking them and then throw that. And then, oh my goodness, my mental health is this, that, and X. Why you're so cruel? You've been doing that. You've been part of the mob.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
100%,
and now it's on you now. Now you want grace from everybody. You understand?
100%.
There's a wild west out there, man.
Yeah.
And it's only one God, well, depending on what religion you believe in, is going to be judging you. You understand?
Yeah. It's not, it's not fair, man. It's not fair, I think, sometimes what we do to people. But I think, what about those who, I guess, have made themselves known, successful, famous by being solely a particular thing? So let's just say solely, I'm an activist. I'm talking about socialism. I'm talking about colonialism, imperialism. It's all bad, etc., etc., etc. And now you've got 2 million followers. If they capitulate, do the people have a right?
Oh, you mean like, what's that fluffy woman who was a singer?
Lizzo.
Lizzo!
Lizzo ain't that fluffy no more, you know?
Yeah. She dropped that.
and they said she was
She said,
fatphobic.
I live. Let me get on my Esther walk.
And they said you are fatphobic. What?
So is that wait.
I didn't get my Esther's walk.
I should have gone with run. Esther, run. You get me? Like treadmill thing again.
If you had said run, I would have heard that. Because that's what I
Trying to
did.
disguise it. All right. So is that what you're talking about? Where you're getting brand deals, you're getting all of these particular other women who relate to you, getting body confidence, and they're like getting onto people saying, you shouldn't not like me, or you shouldn't tell me to do this and that's because that's discriminatory, blah, 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 blah. And then she spins the block and then she loses all of that. Is that what you're talking about?
Not necessarily brand deals. Like, it doesn't have to be like the masses or, you know, the bigger companies that are supporting them. It's more so like
Dr.
the
Umar,
people.
you mean?
Okay, yeah, you know what? You said Dr. Umar.
So if
You know,
Dr. Umar decides to change his mind,
Yeah, and say, you know what? Or maybe he got pressure from a particular community.
Yeah.
Or pressure from a particular group or whatever. And he then kind of capitulated.
yeah,
Is everyone within their rights
to change their mind?
to criticize him?
But this is what I'm saying.
yeah,
If
no, but remember-
Stormzy pushed the boat out,
No, but Stormzy is different because Stormzy never got famous from trying to be an activist. He got famous being a great rapper.
oh,
You know
you're
what I'm saying?
specifically saying they
Yeah.
sought out to be an activist. Would
That's
you
their
say
thing.
that Stormzy sought out to be an activist?
No.
In his marketing, his promotional curating, you don't think that
I think that's-
he's pushed the boat out to say he's a man of the people?
Yeah,
He
but I
has-
think that's his personality. I don't think he's trying to make money.
Why
off
do you
that.
think it's his personality and not what was curated
Because
for him?
because why? That might be the case. That might be the case. But in my head, I'm just seeing it as. I remember when he came on Link Up TV, and the guy was just a rapper. He wasn't talking
You
about.
can't talk
bars
about
and-
beginnings in that manner because you've gone right to the beginning. You haven't gone through now all right, what's your brand identity like? Because we've been seeing the brand identity. Every single move has been strategically curated.
Would you say the same thing about what's that brother in Star Wars?
Yes.
Okay, you said the same thing
Until
about
the Black Lives Matter and he was crying on stage.
until.
No,
Why not included?
they've got people
Yeah.
testing the waters, right? They're reading everything and going with the sentiment. The same with that guy who is now married to this woman, Megan Good.
You can't put him in that.
No,
But I get
what I'm
you're I get
saying
what
is
you're
that
though.
once
his
you've
name
done
again?
something dumb, right?
Jonathan Majors.
that's it.
Yeah. Every single one of their lives are curated. Once it is that you go into that particular realm of stardom and fame, they're now like, all right, cool. What package are we going with you?
And
What's
that's
the
what I was
best-
gonna say. Like, sorry, Brent. Actually,
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if he. I feel like there is some level of care sometimes with celebrities. Let's just talk celebrities, not just Stormzy. But I do think a lot of them lean into it. So when they get cooked, I'm like, well, you basically let people know that I am the one who's going to speak for you.
Yeah.
I'm your representative.
Okay.
Do you get me? Like a lot of them lean into it. So you can't now act shocked when it is that people are cussing you out. And I think some of them as well, like they enjoy the attention they get and the praises they get when they're the man of the people or the woman of the people or they're these social activists. So then they lean into it to distinguish themselves from other celebrities who typically, because there was a time where celebrities they just did what they did. You were just an actor, you were just a singer, you were just a model, and that was it. No one expected anything of substance from you. That's ironic I said that. No one expected anything of substance from you. Do you get what I mean? So the ones who are activists, the ones who know what's going on with the people, the ones who know who do social issues, the ones who know what the homelessness rates are and the unemployment rates, they love to use it as a flex on their other colleagues because I've got more substance than you do. Like you just act, but I act and I'm actually down with the people. I know what the people. So sometimes when they get cooked, I'm like, well, you too. I need to sit down.
And if you remember when he did make that particular assertion, that statement, in support of such and such, like he did get credit for that. He got props for that. There was,
and he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
When he first put the pro-Palestine,
Stormzy, okay.
when he put up the picture and he went into the pro-Palestine thing and he sounded like he'd done his own research and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, like you get props for that. So you also can't act shocked when it. To be fair, I think the issue was him taking down the other picture. I think that if he had done the McDonald's thing, blah, 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 again, Googling what the whole McDonald's thing and with the IDF and all that kind of stuff would have given people the answers. But you taking out the picture makes it look shady and just makes it look as if you no longer stand with this message because someone is coming to it.
Yeah.
And that, again, just spiraling back to my original point. Yes, grace should be extended because of the good that he has done. Even if it was manufactured or not, he is still doing good. But back to the getting on to people for not holding care and concern about certain issues that we hold within the black community. And I'm specifically talking about the black community now, right? And black issues, right? Let's just say they are more conservative than they are liberal, right? And they don't care about certain things that you want them to care about because of their political leanings or standing. Or like some people might be like, oh, stop sharing or talking about trauma porn. You know, I'm sick of hearing all of the suffering that we go through and stop feeding it to me. I only want to focus on the good, you know, because it doesn't have a good effect on me. It pops me down, you understand? So I don't want to hear it. Is that something you would respond by saying, this is how it is that they trick you into accepting what's in front of you, you know? Like, we can't talk about this before because you're going to start crying and blocking your eyes and your ears to it. That's how they trick you again. I can see you saying that. Do you understand?
I want
You
to
ask him before you answer. Say yes, you would. You would do it.
I want you to be a bit more.
Let me be specific.
Yeah, exactly. So I can understand.
Stop talking to me about slavery. God damn it.
Yeah.
Say who?
I could definitely say that. In fact, I've said it many times.
And the white people
like,
that
I could.
perpetrated that murder effort, they don't exist anymore. Why are you? What do you see? You see what he said?
I was almost there. No, I remember we had the conversation when Yusuf was here. Remember, we spoke about this.
I would try not to. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. Oh no.
All right. That's what you mean.
I was right here. I was me, man. I was like, oh my gosh, that did happen. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That did happen.
Yes.
But you know what it is? I feel like, because I remember during COVID, right? I had to tune out of the things that was going on COVID-wise because I found it depressing. It was just like, oh my God, every time I tune in to the news, it's like this number of people have died and this happened and this happened. And I think that, but I'm aware that that's a privilege that I have because I did not have anyone in the ICU units. I did not have anyone that actually had COVID. Do you know what I mean? At the time. So that's a privilege. And I think it's okay to temporarily tune out, but the world we live in, nobody can afford to permanently tune out of anything that's going on. Unless you want to live in you just want to live away from society. Because even if you decide to tune out of it, some way, one how, it's going to affect you. And I think there is...
And does that not sound as though you are prescribing judgment on their decision to not engage?
I think,
in the things that you say, it's inevitable it's going to basically have an effect on you.
It definitely is a form of judgment, but it's not a form of judgment that I would outrightly say and be mean about, because again, I don't know what people are dealing with. I can't. So even me saying that you have to, you can temporarily, you can't permanently. If someone's had a lot of difficulties in life, a lot of trauma in their life, they've gone through so many stuff, and they say, do you know what? For as long as I live, I just want to coast the life until I die. Then do you know what? Fair enough. But I just think that there's just certain things for me, I don't see how as a black person you can tune out of matters concerning race. I think that even if you lived in a nice neighborhood and blah 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 blah, and this is why I said that at some point that thing you're trying to tune out of, it will drag you in. Do you get what I mean? There's just certain things that you can never, as a woman, I can never escape sexism. It just can't happen. So I can't tune out and be like, that's no matter I care about. Because whether I decide to care about it, it's going to care about me. And it's going to come and knock on my front door. Do you get me? So that's what makes it tricky to permanently be like, do you know what? I'm checked out. I'm not involved in this thing.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
If Emmanuel tells you, okay, Esther, but the same with this, I identify as this.
As in
this is growing. You can say, not interested, let people do what they want to do. That's not affecting me. And he says, wait a few years, in fact, a few months, and things are changing like that. It's going to affect you. How would you respond to that? Because you believe, no, sorry, my position in this is not going to change because it's not my life.
But
you know what he's telling you, it affects other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
That you're not aware of.
But that's the reality of things. I feel like if you have that mindset that you're saying I would have, that's what I've got to just accept what he says, because he's right. So I might not be within the community. And I think, because even, do you know how Christians care about gay people so much? But while I'm here, the thieving pastor on the pulpit they don't care about. The pedophile people in the church they don't care about. Do you know what I mean? But they care about gay people and blah, blah, blah. But so I have an attitude of listen, that is not my worry, blah, blah, blah. But however, the reality is that it's going to affect me at some point, because it's feeding into the way the kids are taught in schools and all that kind of stuff. And so there's conversations that a parent might feel like they don't want to have with their child. I'm not gonna, I don't care about this area of society. I'm not going to talk about it. That's it. But that's fine. You can not talk about all you like, but they're going to talk to your kids about it. And your kids are going to come and talk to you about it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I say that with life, with all social issues, there's not everything, we can't ignore everything. But then it makes sense that we also can't, I don't believe we can. Maybe there are people who can, big up them, who can care about every single thing with the same level of vim. Your head would explode. So...
All right, we've spent enough on this intro.
Enough is wild.
Femster,
this
shout you out.
Right?
Huh?
This is topic of the day.
All right, then. Yeah. Femster, shout you out. It was a fantastic
do you know what's so funny?
contribution.
He started saying that he's always wanted the topic of the day. Well, there you have it. You just didn't get the banner, but there you have it.
I reckon you guys should bring on Kehinde.
I was literally about to respond to Rashid. Big up Rashid.
It's Kende.
Andrews, he's a lecturer in Birmingham.
Oh, I've heard about this guy.
Yeah, and author.
Yeah. It used to be here.
I didn't even clock that until I went there. I said, are you really done?
I got naked.
Okay.
I stripped
You're so annoying. I know when you said that, you know, imagine.
I've stripped everything.
Them Prince thongs.
No, that's in his wardrobe.
That's his garment.
Picked that up on eBay.
Oh,
What?
Man.
Ew.
Imagine.
You know the people that will buy that, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I would.
He's people.
You buy Prince's underwear.
He is people.
What underwear?
That's what she said.
Oh, sorry.
Don't pretend like you can't hear
about
now.
the trousers and stuff. No.
There's
I
no
didn't-
way
Same
you're gonna
difference.
buy the
And
money.
same
You're gonna buy
difference.
trousers.
Yeah, it'll be worth a lot of money, you know.
Cut
You
up
know he doesn't wear
buttocks
pants,
might as well
right?
be underwear.
Prince don't give me someone that ever wore pants. Like he does. He never wore boxers. He was definitely commander in there.
He saw the cut out jeans. He knows he don't wear no underwear.
I'm saying, and you'd own that.
He said, "Give me that."
With
You know
sweaty
how
balls.
much, you know how much that would give you like in the future?
Well,
That's a lot of money.
people
you
say
know?
that though. What future? Because like not Prince will always be relevant, but for as long as the generation that grew up on him and wherever else, do you think Gen Z care about Prince? Because that's what you're gonna be trying to sell into, and they don't care.
But you know what?
He might not gonna sell that on. He's gonna wear that.
Imagine.
I can see you coming here with a pair of leggings on.
That's
So when he stands up, Ghana. Boing.
Boing is wild.
I would.
Prince pants.
I would destroy this chair and take it with you. Put it in your car. Take it with
You
you.
bring it when you come in, and you take it when you leave.
Hey, Black Rob. He said Kende Andrews. He did like an emoji. What's the emoji mean?
You don't like him.
What's the
Why?
emoji? It's a circle emoji or X
Like
emoji.
I can't even do the face.
Like a
Why do they like it though?
Well, he would tell you.
Well, to be fair to him, he did say yes. Definitely get him on the show. But yeah, long story short, we were gonna get him on the show for
Black
he had a
History
new
Month.
book.
Oh.
For Malcolm X's
Oh yeah.
anniversary. And yeah, man, he's got a new book in fact. So guys, check it out. I believe it's called Make It Plain. I think so. I believe it's called Make It Plain. Anyway, it's a new book, but check it out. He's got a new podcast as well. So big up Kane Andrews. But yeah, obviously because he's based in Birmingham, he couldn't come down to the
Yeah,
studio.
it's
innit?
tricky.
So it's likely that when we do get him on the show, it'll probably be a Zoom sort of situation. But yeah,
I'll
it'll still be
pre-record
good.
it.
Yeah, that's true. Could do one of those ones as well. But yeah, man,
All right, let's get into the headlines.
let's do it. All right, people. So our first headline: British police have announced that the weekend performances by rap punk duo Bob Vylan and the Irish language band Kneecap at the Glastonbury Festival are subject to a criminal investigation after they led crowds and chants calling for death to the Israeli military and free Palestine. Police on Monday said that the performances at the United Kingdom's largest summer music festival have been recorded as a public order incident. Rapper Bobby Vylan, who until the weekend was relatively unknown, led crowds in chants of free Palestine and death to the Israeli military. The BBC said it regretted live streaming the performance and it should have pulled it off the air. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and other UK politicians condemned the chant, saying that there was no excuse for such appalling hate speech. Starmer added that the BBC must explain how these scenes came to be broadcast. Ofcom, which is the broadcasting regulator, said it was very concerned about the BBC live stream and said that the broadcaster clearly has questions to answer.
They're very cheeky talking about people didn't really know them until the other day. But they were on Glastonbury Festival.
you know
That's the
what I'm
biggest
saying?
festival in the country. Don't be cheeky.
Exactly.
They need them enough to now want to prosecute them.
You know what I mean? Next headline, an extra 150,000 people will still be pushed into poverty despite the government making significant concessions on its plans to cut welfare. This according to its own analysis. The government document published today reflects its decision to water down some of the more severe changes to personal independence payments and the health top-up for universal credit. It states that an estimated 150,000 people will now be pushed into poverty after housing costs if the new welfare cuts come into effect. This is down from 250,000 under the government's original plans. Under the original reforms, the eligibility criteria for PIP would have been tightened for both new and existing claimants. Ministers also intended to freeze the health top-up of the universal credit at £97 a week during this parliament. However, in the face of a large rebellion by Labour MPs, the government changed the proposals for PIP to apply to only new claimants. This is going to be from November 2026. Next headline, and Britain's High Court has ruled that the government's decision to allow the export of Lockheed Martin F-35 jet parts to Israel is lawful, despite accepting that they could be in breach of an international humanitarian law. In a 72-page ruling on Monday, Judges Stephen Mayles and Karen Stain said that the case was about a much more focused issue than just the jet parts. The issue is whether it's open to the court to rule that the UK must withdraw from a specific multilateral defence collaboration because of the prospect that some UK manufactured components will or may ultimately be supplied to Israel and may be used in the commission of a serious violation of international humanitarian law in the conflict in Gaza. This is what the ruling said, right? It also added that under our constitution, that acutely sensitive and political issue is a matter for the executive, which is democratically accountable to Parliament and ultimately to the electorate, not for the courts. Currently, the United Kingdom contributes components for F-35s to an international defence programme that produces the bombers. But Palestinian humanitarian rights organisation Al-Haq, based in the occupied West Bank, took legal action in January against the UK's Department for Business and Trade over its decision to exempt the parts when it suspended some export licenses in September last year. Next headline, and Israeli forces killed at least 67 people in Gaza on Monday with airstrikes that left 30 dead at a seaside cafe and gunfire that left 22 others dead as Palestinians tried to get desperately needed food aid. This is what witnesses and health officials in nearby hospitals said. One airstrike hit the Al-Baka cafe in Gaza City when it was crowded with women and children. At least 30 people were killed and dozens were wounded, said the head of the Health Ministry's Emergency and Ambulance Service in northern Gaza, Faraz Awad. Awad also said that many of the wounded were in critical condition. 2 other strikes in Gaza City Street killed 15 people, which received the casualties. This was basically said by Shifa Hospital. Next headline, and Russia's foreign minister says that NATO's decision to increase defense spending will be catastrophic for the alliance and could lead to its eventual collapse. Sergei Lavrov said in comments run by the Russian state news agency TASS that NATO needs to be guided by common sense. Members of the NATO alliance agreed last week to ramp up defense spending to 5% of each nation's economic output by 2035. Asked about remarks made by Poland's foreign minister, who was reported to have said that an arms race between Russia and the West could trigger the fall of President Vladimir Putin, Lavrov said that he thought NATO could collapse. Since he's such a predictor, he probably foresees that a catastrophic increase in the budget of NATO countries, according to my estimates, will also lead to the collapse of this organization. This is what Lavrov went on to say. Next headline, and Donald Trump is expected to issue an executive order to lift some financial sanctions on Syria in a move that the White House says will help stabilize the country after the ousting of Bashar al-Assad. The US was expected on Monday to terminate the United States sanctions program on Syria. This is what a White House spokesperson said, cancelling a 2004 declaration that froze Syrian government property and limited exports to Syria over Damascus's chemical weapons program. Some sanctions will remain on Syria, including those mandated through Congress under the Caesar Syria Civilian Protection Act of 2019 that targeted funds for reconstruction and natural gas development, as well as the US declaration of Syria as a state sponsor of terrorism. White House officials said that the executive order would maintain pressure on the former leader Assad and his entourage. And that's it for our headlines. Time to pay them bills.
All right, let's do it on the road. What's happening in the world of celebrities and whatnot? Oh my gosh, Rita Ora did something that I've always said. I would rather eat denim straight out of the Chinese factory, fresh off the press, than ever do. She was on, what's that woman's name again? Not, it's Emma. Emma, what is it again? Emma, hold on. I'm going to say Watson. It's not Watson. It's, I can't remember. Emma, the woman who does the Big Brother, Emma something. Mm. But anyway, she was on her podcast, basically, Begin Again. That's what her podcast is called. And she basically talked about how she proposed to her husband.
Nice.
That's what. I think that's about it.
It's the modern day, you know.
I think that some people... Okay, here's my truth. I think some women who propose to their husbands, propose to them because if they don't, they will never get married to them. Mm. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm going to do it because if I don't, he won't. And this would never happen. It's just not my thing. Actually, is anyone in the community that's ever proposed to a man? Let me know how that went out. How that worked out for you. But she basically said that she decorated, that she did that. She went out. Like, they weren't just chilling. And she just said, hey, do you want to get married? Which I think is, technically you're asking, but that doesn't seem so bad. Hey, do you want to get married? That doesn't seem so bad. She actually decorated the room, got balloons in there, flower petals, the whole thing, got on one knee. Had a ring. And he was like, what's happening?
Well, you know.
God forbid. Anyway, Carlos, obviously they're still married now. They're married and whatever. He said yes. He said yes. And then, they got married. No, after that, she said that they had a very, they had a private ceremony. Well, sounds about what you get when you propose, man. But anyway, so that happened. Nelly and Ashanti have a reality TV show. And it's just so interesting how... This is why, again, public opinions. Because everyone went from, oh my gosh, yeah, they're getting back together, so great, to now they're criticizing the heck out of them. To be fair, though, actually, he did lose favor. He was a good example. He lost favor when he went and performed at Donald Trump's thing. Even Snoop. This whole thing we've talked about this morning. Remember Snoop performed at Donald Trump's inauguration as well? And he was called out.
Yes, he was.
Man, I think people have actually cancelled him because of the level of betrayal that was. So anyway, Nelly did the same thing. But anyway, there was a clip circulating from their show. I haven't watched their show. I'm not watching the show. But about the baby. They've got a kid together. And how Nelly just sleeps through the crying. That's scary though. That's very scary. That's actually very scary. Because babies' cries are so annoying that you want to do whatever you can to just get them to to help them. Do they need food? Do they need changing? What do they need? He just sleeps through it. Don't do no night shifts, nothing. So people are basically criticizing him and saying that they're basically saying that she did all of Ashanti's been through everything that she's been through just to end up a married single mother.
That's harsh, man.
Is it? A lot of single mothers in marriages.
No, but she's not though, man. The man's just sleeping
Is
at
she
night.
not? What do you mean sleeping light?
No, he's just sleeping at night. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the most important time to wake up. Because she's with the child all day. Because typically, in healthy marriages I've seen, the men do the night shift. Or they at least take turns. If he's on paternity leave, he does night shift. If he's not, big up Fred Santana. Actually, sorry, I never did that. Big up Fred from 90s Baby.
Big up.
A new father. And Fred is doing night shifts. That's what you do when you have a baby and the mother is up all day breastfeeding and doing this. You take turns. I mean, it's not easy for everybody. Even big up Tolu and Yemi Ogumefon as well. Don't jealous me and his wife. They just gave birth to a boy, Timmy Dayo. So sweet.
Congrats.
My brother's name. It's beautiful. Even Tolu is doing what's it called? Night shifts. It's just what you do. It's just what you're meant to do. But anyway, I think it's scary. I think the scarier part is that he sleeps through the noise. Anything could happen.
But you know what it is? I think
Scary as heck.
the way they're making it seem is worse than it is. It's a known fact.
That what?
That women, when there's a newborn, they're more sensitive to the baby's little movements than men are.
No, but it's not movement, Emmanuel.
Yeah, cries
it's loud cries.
But we don't know how loud it is.
Cries. Cry. You got a daughter. You think you're still...
Yeah, but
That's when they're fussing.
Yeah, but
When they're crying in the middle of the night, wake their ass up. Crying is different to little movement. I get what you're saying, but crying is different to having an inkling that you think the baby needs something. Baby's actually crying through the night and you're just sleeping. Anything could be happening. Psh, God forbid. God forbid, child. Anyway, so they're being criticized and whatnot about all of that stuff. And yeah, man. Because basically, even his ex, right? There was a whole thing with his ex recently as well, where his ex basically said that they broke up. She broke up with him to see if it will come back. If the relationship will come back. If it's meant to be, basically. It will come back. It was meant to be. But people are saying, actually, and people have been saying about the ex, oh, yeah, not negative about what she did, but just that's crazy that you let him go and then he ended up being married to somebody else and blah, 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 within a year or whatever. But then people are saying, well, the ex looks like the ex-one. You know how stupid, all this is all foolishness. Goodness. That's the bottom line. But anyway, good luck to them. Cardi B, I'm so happy. Bardi Gang. Where's Margs when I need him? Cardi B has got a second album coming out. I'm really excited about it because she's only released one album, Her career for the past... When did that album come out? Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Let me see when Cardi B's first album came out, because I was in uni. Wasn't I? Well, actually, was I not in uni? 2017. Okay, that was the year I graduated. It was 2018. Invasion of Privacy. So it's been 7 years.
7.
She's had a successful career for the past 7 years.
Wow.
With one album. Love that for her, boy.
Well done.
So she's finally announced her second album, and it's called Am I the Drama? And it is out on the 19th of September. And then yesterday she released a trailer for it as well. And it's basically, she's at home, looking pretty, whatever, just looking in the mirror, whatever. And then she just gets, what are they called? A murder of crows. You know those words that, like when you want to describe a collection of things, they have these random things, like these random words. I think crows are murder. Is it murder of crows?
I never heard of that.
Something's a murder there. There's an animal, there's a bird that's a murder. And I know because I hate birds and they might as well murder me.
Yes,
Might be
a
close.
murder
It
of
is.
crows. Yes.
So look at that.
Is
Yes.
the poetic and collective noun used to describe a group of crows, while other animals have standard group names like a pack of wolves or a herd of deer. Crows and many birds have more evocative, Old English-inspired terms. A murder of crows.
Because they will murder you, that's for sure.
Cocks.
Which is scary as heck. But yeah, so she basically gets attacked by a murderer. They're like in her house and trying to chase her about, and then she runs to the car, they get in the car, blah, 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 blah. I guess that's Offset. And the spirits within him. I guess that's allegedly. Because he's in his feelings a lot at the moment. Like, she's moved on, living her best life, and he's upset. Offset is upset. Which was one of her lyrics one time when she was like, oh, what was it? Cardi took the... I can't remember. But anyway, so her album's coming out. I'm really looking forward to it. And then also, so she faced backlash because on her album, she has WAP on there with Megan Thee Stallion. She also has Up, and then she's got a latest song recently, it's Outside, but forget that one. But she's got Up and WAP. And WAP, as you remember, broke records. I think that's the most streamed song, something like that anyway, by a female rapper or something like that. So people were like, you're cheating. They're like, you're cheating because essentially, her album's already gone clear. Yeah. Basically. But then she was like, but this is not first week sales. And she's like, also, those songs deserve a home. So like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
but to be fair, Cardi's been working on her album for years. Like Charlamagne keeps telling her, just release it, don't overthink it, like stop being scared. I feel like she felt a lot of pressure, especially because when she got pregnant with her first child when her first album dropped. And people were like, oh my gosh, you're defo done, you're da-da-da-da, you know how they do. Which is very kind. And then obviously she wasn't done. And so she's felt a lot of pressure. So it really could be that these songs were actually meant to be on the album and she just released them as singles and stuff. So personally, I mean, people were coming for her. And if that was me, there's a few other songs I would have thrown in there that did really well, that cleared the charts. I would have just thrown them in there as well. Now you guys have got 6 tracks already done if you're already listening to. But I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. And then lastly, Chris Brown. So remember he assaulted somebody in London nightclub.
Yes.
And then he got arrested for it when he came here for the tour. So there was also a lawsuit. The victim, also filed a lawsuit. But now that lawsuit is being dismissed. The guy has pulled back the lawsuit. But that's obviously because they reached a settlement outside of that. So the lawsuit's been dismissed. However, though, he's still facing criminal charges. Because remember, he was allowed to go. He was given he was allowed on bail for £6.9 million. Crazy. How's it gonna run? Obviously, he's just gonna go. He's been in a position where he didn't have to be in the UK, where he wasn't allowed in the UK for a decade. What's another decade? Do you know what I mean? He would just be like, well, if you guys want to see me that bad, and he can go to European countries, just when it comes to the UK. So anyway, no, it was not 6.9, so it was 6.7 million. Yeah, because that's 0.2 is really what take me out. But yeah, £6.7 million or dollars. Sorry, dollars. But yeah, so the lawsuit against him has been dismissed. But the criminal charges are still pending, and then we'll see what happens there. I don't think he's going to do jail. I think, and I don't know if the lawsuit is dismissed, does that mean... I guess the guy's not saying it didn't happen, he's just saying that I no longer want to sue you. But there's no word on like what the settlement might have been, but typically someone withdraws it and they say you did that shit. It's probably because there's some kind of settlement going on. And apparently also, I didn't put this on the list, but Diddy's, the jury are deliberating on Diddy. What do you guys think? I think he's going to get away with it, you know. I think he's going to get away with it. And I hope they put everyone in WITSEC if he does. Everybody. Every single person. The judge, the cleaner, everybody.
I don't think so.
You don't think he's gonna get away with it?
Nah.
Because remember they tried to drop, didn't they try to drop
I think two things.
yeah, they had to drop two of the, no, it's a Rico. What you gonna go for, a co or re? Like, what we doing? Let me see.
I think they recognize that those two things that they dropped
We're not strong.
number, yeah, and they don't want to muddy the waters. Make it clear that this is, you know what I mean. So I think they've recognized that this could be a tricky one, but for these ones here, the trafficking and the prostitution, I think across state lines, is clear. So deliberating this, but yes,
Wasn't the traffic they were gonna take off?
No, I think they kept that one. You know,
Is it okay?
I
stopped tuning into the Diddy. I stopped. As you guys mentioned, I just stopped because I just thought this is just too much. Every day reading people's demonic accounts of this demonic man. Please. I'm a child of light. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, when they were deliberating, apparently they handed notes to the judge. The jury something was happening.
Is it because they said they had to tell one of them off or something? Is it for that?
Maybe, I think so. Because one of the jury people didn't understand. At least they said that one of the people in the jury, as part of the jury, didn't understand what they needed to be done. What needed to be done. So they handed them notes. Exactly.
Can't get the stuff.
So I don't know what's going on there. But
so that's why they're not staff. That's why just members of the public. Could be anybody up in there. Interesting. We'll see. Brent, what do you reckon?
I think that it's going to be tight because you just need one juror to basically say,
Same right.
So it's going to be tight. But,
So if one says no, that means he's not guilty.
yeah, mistrial, innit?
yeah,
They do it all again.
if they want
have
to
to.
do it again,
They have to.
they might do it again. Just tweak something, take something out, and say no, we're going to do this.
Because I can't live in a world where I can. But I'd rather not live in a world where Diddy is found not guilty, and he just gets to be in my face again. Like, do you know what I mean? Like he goes on this. Oh, I can't imagine him doing the same thing Jonathan Majors has been insufferable with. I honestly can't go through that. I can't deal with him having interviews, all these people, all these publications, and then all these black people will be sitting there so happy to be licking his bum, talking about, oh yeah, oh my gosh, I just want to take the black man down. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he went through that.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to people like Mirad Simra. Well, I keep forgetting his name. What's his name?
Yeah, I think you got it right. Mirad Simra.
Mirad Simra? Yeah. People like him. Oh. You see? Told you.
I won't be in on that day.
No, that's what he would be saying. Free Diddy.
I can't.
And he'd be like, let's get R. Kelly out now.
Oh, man.
That one is done.
So I kind of want the table to shake a little bit. But I don't know. I think that they've spent too long presenting certain things.
Yeah.
And I think a few R things were in there. Testified by a couple of the people that came on board. So I don't know if he's just going to walk, but like I said, it just takes one juror.
Yeah.
One juror.
We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it as far as Word on Road goes.
All right.
Let's get into People's Journal.
Thank you very much.
No People's Journal.
Let's get into more headlines.
All right, then.
Ew.
I need to knock one out. Imagine you have
One them. You got two. We got one bowl or two. One bowl or two bowls.
All right. So,
What are you gonna say? Should we do what?
I was gonna say asking for a friend.
Or do you want to ask him for a friend?
Do we have enough time to tackle this one? This is.
I'm here. Do you want to do that? Do you want to contribute to asking for a friend? I can read the other headlines.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. I'll give you a few minutes of that.
All right. So this. Do you want to do it? No. Actually, no. I'm gonna be reading the other headlines. You go. Let's get my breath.
All right, cool. So asking for a friend, guys. So somebody has written this in. 20 years old. They said, "Are my parents acting weird or are they being considerate? My parents don't want light-skinned grandkids. My brother has 3 kids, 1 with a white woman and 2 with a light-skinned woman. And I would say all 3 are light-skinned. My dad says he wants the melanin to be prevalent down the generations. Using common sense, if I do get with a light-skinned woman or a white woman, chances are my kids turn out like that too, right? So they want my kid's mother to be dark-skinned. Are they being weird? I personally think so. But I also think it's partly because they had a dream of how they wanted their grandkids to look. I want to know the appropriate way to talk to my parents and tell them off But being the youngest, I've been raised to never ever really challenge my parents' words because in my culture, Zambian, it's seen as one of the worst things you can do to your parent. To be more precise, I like all shades of black. Sending love from Amsterdam. Big up you.
Big up you, babes. Your parents are weird. But I think, but I don't think you should have a conversation with them. I think just do what you want to do. You know, like, because if you're Zambian and I'm Nigerian, and in your culture, you can't be telling your parents what to do. And in my culture, you certainly can't be telling your parents to do. I feel like we're right here. So because of that, I don't think a conversation with them is going to do anything. You know, there's just some people in the older generation, they're just determined not to learn. They're just not, like, you can't explain it to them, they're not going to learn. And especially when they've got a dream of dark-skinned grandchildren, I think that's very silly. I think that's very inconsiderate, and it's insensitive to say when you've already got light-skinned grandchildren. That's not nice. Do you get what I mean? So because it's not nice, I think that you should just go forth and do whatever happens and let the chips fall where they may for you. If whoever you end up with for the right reasons, I don't think you should now go through life wanting to date dark-skinned women because you want your seed to be dark-skinned. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I think you just go forth and live your life. Let them keep thinking what they're thinking and whatever the case is. And when you find whoever you're with, if they disagree with them, just say to them, listen, it's not your life. I don't know. That's when you then find your voice, and then you let them know what time it is, and you keep it moving.
Yeah, man. I mean, date who you want to date, be happy, you know what I'm saying, and do your own thing and stuff, innit? But, however, what I would say is, if it's like constant pressure to be like, yo, only do this, then I hear why you would say it's kind of weird. But I don't think it's weird for the grandparents to be like, I want kids that look like me. Do you know what I'm saying? In the same way, it's not weird for us to say, I want a partner that looks like me. I want kids that look like me. You know what I'm saying? That can extend to your grandkids.
Do you know what's weird though? Not to cuss you, the person who wrote the dilemma or whatever. I don't know how your parents parented you guys and stuff, but I just feel that they should have made them appreciate black culture more if you didn't want your children with white people. Yeah, that's the reality of it.
That is true.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you should have celebrated dark skin more. I don't know what they could have done. They could have done some things, but you can't now raise your children to where they are and then be upset at the decision that they're making when you are partly responsible for how they turned out.
Yeah.
And what does they want? What do the parents want the other son to do with the kids? Throw them away?
No, but
because if he has but if this guy has dark skinned black grandchildren, are they going to be nicer to those ones than the light skinned ones? That's not nice for family dynamic. It's weird.
But do you feel like it's one of those things where it's like, in their head they're just thinking, you know what? If we have dark skinned ones, then it's like, okay, cool. At least everything's fine.
What shade of black are your parents? Because if your daddy went for a light skinned woman, he needs to close his mouth, shut his mouth, respectfully, uncle. Do you get what I mean? Like, come on now.
Because what I was gonna say is,
I think it's weird to talk about when King Charles did it before. It was weird.
Yeah.
You don't get past when you're a black person. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, maybe they're just seeing like the entire generation's gone in it, like, and they don't look like them.
Oh, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, but the thing is, the parents may not be one of those pro-black people. They
and that's fraught one.
No, but like they might be one of those, you know what? Yeah, love who you want sort of people, but they've stepped back. But they've stepped back, and they've looked at a family photo and said, "Yo."
It's too late now. They're adults.
Yeah, but they're trying to just put
kids.
the
Do you
seed in his mind.
think Christie's generation could ever fade out?
Not at all.
Could your generation ever fade out?
Impossible.
It's about how you raise your children. You don't raise them any which way, and then now you're out here got your son writing a dilemma because you're putting pressure on putting pressure on him. Parents should step their game up from young. If you know that this is the kind of generation you wanted, and especially because it sounds as if like they want their kids to live their dreams. So they've been knowing how they wanted their grandkids to look. They should have put the work in.
Yeah. Arranged
marriage. Should have put the work in however they needed to. Introduce their kids to like women that they thought, okay, this would be a good woman. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's people that do that. They're very strategic. If they wanted to control their family this much, they should have been more strategic. Now you're here. You've been doing vibes and inshallah. Now you're out here talking about. You better be grateful you got some grandkids. 20-year-old man, you go forth and live your life. Don't let your parents disturb you, man. End of someone you don't really like that because you want to produce what's it called, dark skinned grandkids for your parents.
Yeah, it's true.
Actually, mom would tell me what hue of grandkids she wants. Girl,
Yeah, well, I hope we've answered them. Oh, wait, we didn't answer the question. How should he talk to them?
don't. I told her I did.
Okay.
That's the first thing I said. Don't talk to them. I said, don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. Just go for live your life. Or if you must talk to, actually, you ask how do you talk to them? Just say, do you know what? I don't know. What do you even say stuff like this? Just say it's a bit like, just say you don't want pressure on who you.
Yeah.
Just say, do you know what? No. It's in God's hands who you end up with. And because there's people who are dark skinned and the child can come out
that's true.
Lighter skinned. Sorry, Daryl. So we should say fair.
That's true.
Lighter skin. Do you get me? Like, you just don't know these things. So he could be dark skinned, his wife could be dark skinned, and someone's great grand something DNA passed down somehow, and now stuck with Lil Henry. Lil Henry's light skin. What's the grandparents gonna say? They don't want Lil Henry in the house. So tell them like, you know what, it's in God's hands, but you don't like it puts you guys under a lot of pressure of something that you can't actually control.
You heard
That
it.
way they when the first son was dating a white woman. Clown. Anyway, all the best to you and your family, babe.
Yeah,
My dear. All right, let's see. Have you already done 3 headlines today? Have you done?
Yeah, so just the last 3.
Damn. Oh, that's the last 3.
Yeah.
So you've done 6.
Yeah.
Okay, good, wonderful. All right. So, oh dear. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. A 92-year-old man has been found guilty of raping and murdering a woman born 133 years ago. What? If he's 92 and the woman was born 133 years ago. Oh, it didn't happen 133 years ago. I get it. So a 92-year-old man has been found guilty of raping and murdering a woman born 133 years ago in what's thought to be the UK's longest cold case to reach trial. Ryland Headley was convicted at Bristol Crown Court of killing 75-year-old mother of 2, Louisa Dunn, at her home back in June 1967. Latest DNA technology, as well as matching palm prints taken at the scene more than 57 years ago, led a jury to find Headley guilty on both charges. Detective Inspector Dave Merchant from Avon and Somerset Police said forces across the country are investigating whether Headley could be linked to other unsolved crimes. This investigation was a blend of new and old forensic techniques, DNA being the latest and greatest, but we were able to utilize that original investigative material, he said. Next headline. Dad should be entitled to 6 weeks of well-paid paternity leave to improve gender equality and boost economic growth. That's so Nigerian growth. Growth, a report says today. Increasing leave for fathers in the first year of a newborn's life could deliver net social benefits of up to £12.8 billion annually, according to research by the University of Bath. The study finds women's employment drops by 15 percentage points around childbirth in the UK, while men's work patterns remain unchanged. It says extending paternity leave benefits businesses, including by improving staff retention, employee well-being, and productivity. Researchers said international evidence from Quebec, Sweden, and Iceland shows that dedicated, well-paid leave for fathers leads to greater sharing of care, earlier returns to work by mothers, and long-term equality gains. Currently, fathers in the UK are entitled to just 2 weeks of leave, often poorly paid, leaving women to continue to shoulder most of the care burden after childbirth. Eligible dads receive £187.18 a week, or 90% of average earnings, whichever is lower. And our last headline for today. An MP says he is being denied communion by his local Catholic priest after he voted in favour of the sister dying bill. Can you imagine the priest saying, I can't control what you do out here, but I will control what you do in the house. No communion for you. No bread and wine.
Whatsoever.
No bread and wine for you. That's crazy, you know.
Crazy.
But fair. I hear it. Chris Coughlin, the Liberal Democrat MP for Dorking and Hawley in Surrey, backed the terminally 3 adults bill, which was approved in the House of Commons with a majority of 23 MPs earlier this month. Mr. Coughlin said Father Ian Vane, the priest at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Dorking, wrote to him before the vote and then last week told people attending Mass that he would be refusing him communion. to be fair, he didn't even go to find out himself. It was through the grapevine he heard this. The Catholic Diocese of Arundel and Brighton said Bishop Richard Moth had spoken to the MP and offered to meet him to discuss the issues and concerns raised. Mr. Coughlin told BBC Radio Surrey that he and his family were not in the church in person to hear the priest, but that people who were there had contacted him to say they were pretty appalled. It is one thing to take a view on an MP's vote on a conscience vote in Parliament. It is quite another to go out and publicly name and shame them as a Catholic priest to hundreds of their constituents, he said. Mr. Coughlin added that he thought carefully about the vote and that he felt utterly disillusioned by what had happened. Interesting. That's actually very interesting, you know. Being refused communion because you don't represent Christ outside in your workplace. Crazy. All right, let's wrap this up.
All right,
Shall
Dion, jump into the wrap up. Where's my ticker?
Let's wrap it up.
Sale?
The sound.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I figured it out. I needed to reduce something because of the peaks. It worked.
Okay.
It worked.
All right. What are we talking about today? Today we talked about a lot of stuff. To be honest, the intro was, our topic of the day was in the intro. Can't remember what that was. It was a lot of things. So listen back. And then we talked about the police. The UK police have said that pro-Palestine performances at Glastonbury are subject to probe. They're going to look into that. 150,000 will be pushed into poverty as the government reveals new measures to try and win over rebels. And the High Court allows UK to keep exporting F-35 jet parts to Israel. 67 people killed in Gaza as Israeli forces strike a cafe and fire on people seeking food. Also, Russia says that catastrophic decision could be the end of NATO. 6 people were killed in strikes across Ukraine, and Trump expected to sign an executive order to lift some of the sanctions on Syria. Also, the topic of the dilemma. So check that out as well. And there's a man who has been found guilty of a crime he committed nearly 60 years ago, actually. Yeah, nearly 60 years ago. And also there is reports that is saying that fathers, should be entitled to 6 weeks well-paid paternity leave. And then we talked about the MP as well, who's been denied communion over his assisted dying vote. And that was it for today, actually. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our lovely channel. What else is there? Follow us on our socials, The Day After TMB on Discord, on X, on Instagram. When are you going to shout out our friend?
Who's that?
The voice note you heard yesterday.
I wasn't. You said you were.
Did I?
Yeah, you said you loved it.
Big up Eddie. I heard... was that a private voice note, actually?
No, it's on Discord.
Yeah, so Eddie put up a Discord. I love Eddie, you know. Eddie's so cool, man. Big up Eddie every single time. Every single time. It was really cool, like, listening to you give your opinions and stuff on the show. And to be honest, I feel like it was a different side to what we've known of you so far.
He cursed?
No, but he cursed and he just felt like so engaged with the conversation and just so... He was just very engaged with the conversation. And I imagine that's how he talks to his friends. So like Eddie talked to us like he talks to your friends. That was nice. Big up Eddie every single time. And big up you guys that all tuned in today. We appreciate you. And God willing, by the grace of God, we will see you back here tomorrow.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the weather.
Yes,
Drink
put
a lot
SPF
of water.
on.
Drink a lot
3
of water.
times.
Drink a lot of water.
Say yeah. To imagine SPF being a trigger word now. That's a crazy word. Crazy. See you later.
Later.
Bye, y'all.
All right.